conspiracy is energy grid control. We can start simple and take the Tesla piece and fit that in there, that he was marginalized and suppressed. Then we can take the UFO piece, where they can't acknowledge UFOs because they use this type of technology, and there's a heavy quarantine around anything related to this energy disclosure. Then you have the education system and NASA purposefully compartmentalizing sciences so nobody puts it all together, perpetuating CERN and what they're doing, holding people like Stephen Hawking up on high as long as he keeps talking about black holes and gravity and leaving the electrical component out of it. And that's if he's not just a literal puppet for the reality shapers, or worse, some advanced sentient AI. You know, I used to file that in with the creepy conspiracies that probably are a bit of a stretch, but let's dig a little deeper into this Stephen Hawking thing. Think about the influence in today's scientific community that Hawking has. Now, if the mainstream paradigm is a lie or heavily flawed in places where Wal Thronhill sees it, why doesn't Stephen? If he's being intellectually honest. From that, I get the impression that he isn't. He's a godlike, infallible authority. That's how he's treated. That's the pedestal the system puts him on. And so what, you might say? Well, if they're going to give someone such a position of authority in an area like the forefront of modern science, will they really leave that up to chance? Or would it be advantageous to have a vegetable of a man in a chair whose speak and spell computer can be programmed to say anything you might want it to say? Oh, how the elites' mouths must water over such a proposition. But are there any supporting facts? Well, it turns out there might be. Do you guys realize that he's seriously the person who's lived with ALS the longest? Yeah, what a coincidence, right? I've looked this up, and several sources will tell you that the great majority of the time, a person with ALS is diagnosed in their 50s and is dead within about 5 years. Stephen Hawking is 74 years old. So they say. Here, let me just read this. It basically hits all the points. It's from newser.com, which I've never really heard of, but this isn't the only site saying these kind of things. This is just the most succinct. It's appropriately titled, How Has Stephen Hawking Lived with ALS for 52 Years? Experts call the 74-year-old physicist's long-term survival extraordinary. An ALS patient's life expectancy averages just 2 to 5 years after diagnosis, and only about 5% make it past 20 years, the ALS Association notes. But Stephen has beaten the odds and lived with his motor neuron disease for 52 years, and no one's sure why, though some experts suggest factors that may have increased his lifespan. In today's Washington Post, scientists also don't know for certain what causes ALS in general and are studying genetic and environmental links, the CDC notes. Yeah, trust them. But although the underlying reasons for Hawking's long-term survival are unclear, scientists' thoughts on it aren't. Quote, he is exceptional, neurology professor Nigel Lay told the British Medical Journal in 2002. I am not aware of anyone else who has survived with ALS as long. Now, 2002, the guy said that 14 years ago. Man, you'd think with Stephen Hawking's bright mind, he might apply it to something more personal. I guess he has no interest in why he's the anomaly for ALS. Okay. What also makes Hawking's case unusual is that he was informed of his illness so young. The average age for diagnosis is 55, though Hawking's early onset may have helped him in the long run. Survival in younger patients is strikingly better and is measured in many years, in some cases more than 10. Oh, well, in some cases people live more than 10 years, so Stephen Hawking living 52 years with ALS, nothing to see here. It makes me wonder. So that's creepy, and to add fuel to the fire, there was a time in 1985 where he was so far gone that doctors told his wife it might be time to shut off the life support machines. That would be when he was in his mid-40s, a much more reasonable time for your average ALS victim to die. But he recovered and promptly finished his book, A Brief History of Time, and the rest is history, right? How lucky we are to have such a brilliant scientific mind be so accurate about space, the universe, and reality. But anyway, I was in the middle of trying to piece together a puzzle here. You got torsion fields, free energy, UFOs, false idols like S-Hawks here, and then you have the shape of the Earth itself as possibly a torsion field shape, a donut, basically a ball with holes at the poles. Now, I'm definitely speculating, but I see a through line between all these points that really make sense. And if I had to put my money on something, it would probably be that these are the big secrets about space, not that it doesn't exist and the Earth is flat. Let's add to this pile, too, the idea of the firmament, that we are in a type of shell or bubble, a very popular idea for the people of the ancient past and the people of the flat Earth community. Could the people in the past have been trying to describe this plasma bubble of Saturn? Is it possible that without the scientific terms to explain it, they called this cocoon, this envelope, the firmament? I don't know, but I could see it.
Oh no, you see, the world isn't random, it's attached to puppet strings, control over everything. The 9 to 5 is trying to steal ya, now don't that job seem silly? Hello, can you hear me? Or should I play back recordings from some spying agency? Wish we were younger and free. I'll be thankful when it's all exposed, the vast conspiracy. There's such a difference between us and the damn brush. Oh no, they're cartoons. It's so typical of me to talk about this stuff. I'm sorry, that's good and well. Did you ever hear the argument that nothing really happens? It's no secret, and that the best is plus. It's done.